4 weeks. 4 weeks is all you need to lock in for. You have 6 exams, the final one being May 22nd. That is 25 days. The task ahead of you really is not that daunting. All you gotta do is be locked in for less than 4 weeks. You've spent the entire year doing your own thing. Now is the time to lock in. Now is the time to focus. It might seem like far too much to ask to learn the entire year's worth of content because you've been skipping lectures this entire time. But objectively speaking, it's not that bad. All you gotta do is cut out YouTube, cut out Instagram. I've made the task especially easy for you because you've got an app blocker for both of them. You've even put a site blocker on your computer. All you gotta do is not turn them off. That's all it takes. The time that you have gained from that can now be allocated to doing the work, learning the content, mainly doing questions. Doing questions is the main thing you're gonna do because reading the notes is far too much to do. Reading the notes is far too difficult. It's written far too verbosely and there's far too many words. Just do the questions and then you'll know what you need to know. And you'll get better at answering questions. 2 birds, 1 stone. Don't delude yourself into thinking it's going to be like A-levels, where you can just wing it, revision being completely optional. That's not the same, because the questions that are going to be asked are going to be way harder, and the reason why the revision was optional in A-levels is because for most of A-levels, you were listening in class. You weren't listening in lectures because you weren't even there. You can't revise what you don't know. The revision period is not optional if you don't even know the content. So this is not like A-levels. You actually need to do the work. And don't you dare convince yourself that this doesn't matter because the first year grade doesn't affect what's written on your degree. This is about your ego. You need to know that you can get a first. You don't want to be stressing about this in later years when it does matter. Also, you need to know for yourself that you are able to overcome insurmountable odds. Simply getting a pass is not impressive because you probably could have done that half-assing it. But getting a first is what it takes to truly convince yourself that you haven't lost your ability to do hard work. It may seem like you have because you haven't demonstrated it in over a year, but now's the time to demonstrate it to yourself, to show yourself that hope is not truly lost. 3 actionable steps you're going to do. First off, sort out your sleep. Same time wake up every day, same time sleep every day. You want a consistent amount of energy. You're playing the long game here. I know it's less than a month, but that is a long game. This ain't a sprint. If you fall over, you're not going to make it far. Don't be afraid to have coffee. I don't know what your aversion to coffee has been this entire time, but whenever you do have coffee, you've just been more alert. So if need be, if energy levels are seeming a bit low, have a coffee. Next, you're going to go to the library and then do long and hard work. It's not just about work efficiency. You do just need to work for hours. There's a lot on your plate. It doesn't matter how big your mouthfuls are. You do need to chew for a long time to get through everything. The change of environment should mean you don't get distracted so easily. Also, hopefully being around other people. You don't necessarily know who they are, what they're doing, but they're working, and hopefully that energy spreads around and goes towards you so that you do the work as well. Lastly, and most importantly, no cheap dopamine. No YouTube, no Instagram, those are the main ones. It's not just the time it's wasting. It physically fucks with your brain. Like 5 minutes of doom scrolling is not 5 minutes wasted. It's potentially the whole day because you're constantly thinking about it. It is a drug. It stays in your system. So just don't do it. Doing it at night doesn't even make sense either because you want to sleep. If you are tired, whether that be in general or from a task, either switch tasks, or if it's late, sleep. Sleeping won't mess with your ability to do work later on because sleeping gives you more energy. You don't get an energy boost from any of these cheap dopamine, so just don't do it. 0 is the best amount, but as close to 0 is better than what you've been doing this entire time anyways. I think it's just better to stick with 0. We don't have the time to do baby steps. We have to go all the way in. So, just to repeat, consistent sleep schedule, study in the library, no dopamine. Also, this and the next couple weeks, in between your lectures, don't fucking waste that time. Those hours are still time you can do work. I don't know what the fuck you're doing, slacking off during them times. The more time you slack off, the less momentum you have to do work. So when you do work, it's less efficient. You're not as quick, you're not as sharp. Do these 3 things, don't slack off, get a first, be happy. This ain't complicated. Alright, to anyone watching or listening to this, like if you want, comment if you want, subscribe if you want. Just note, I may be uploading often now, because if I truly am focused, recording these videos will be my palate cleanser. This will be my break. So if you guys keep seeing me uploading, that means I'm sticking to it. Wish me luck.